Today we're celebrating 25 years in marketing, in the marketing space, in the marketing industry. I have the pleasure to have once again on my podcast the founder and CEO of Full Capacity Marketing, Celina Shands. Congratulations, Celina, for 25 years and welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Richard. It's so nice of you to have us on, and happy birthday to us, right? The big 25.
The
I can't
big
believe it.
the
It
big
just
20.
went so fast.
It did? Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. Well, and I realized, I said, oh my goodness, we're going to be 25 this year. That is crazy.
So
Just
that
crazy.
so that's 2001, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Your math is right on. I think I had started the concept in 2000 and then started it in 2001, incorporated in 2003, but we were working those 2 years. Yeah, yeah, it's been a long haul.
Okay, so how does it feel?
It feels amazing. And, I was thinking about our topic today, and all I can say is gratitude. If I summed it up in one word, it's like grateful for the journey, grateful for the customers, my colleagues who helped me, people who believed in us, and just the customers too that continue to come back to us for repeat business and trust us with their brand building efforts. A lot of gratitude there. They become like your family. My customers become like my family. What can I say?
So what do you guys do exactly at Full Capacity Marketing?
Yeah, there are a lot of different marketing agencies out there, right? Our niche is in the industry sectors of workforce development, education, and entrepreneurship. So those are the missions that we focus on. And what, especially the workforce and education organizations do is they try to attract and recruit underrepresented and underserved populations to help them build their skills, to lift them up, to get degrees in some cases, to build a better life. Basically, that's the bottom line. So it's very rewarding working with those organizations who have that mission because you can see the results that they're getting and you hear the stories, and that's what keeps us going every day.
Hmm. Did you ever think that you would reach that far? This far?
Oh, you know, I didn't know. It's like any entrepreneur, right? You start out and you go, okay, I've done my planning, I've done my research, I've got a business plan. I think I'm ready. And then you launch and you don't know. I would say how I grew up kind of, it wasn't the best start for me, So I would say the odds were stacked against me. In fact, I was looking up some data points to prepare for my talk with you. And Bureau of Labor Statistics was saying 20% of businesses fail in the first year, and that compounds, over the subsequent years. And then at the 5 year mark, it rises up to 50%. So I just, how do I feel? I feel grateful. I feel very grateful that the universe has put us on this path and that we are able to do what we get to do every day.
So let's go back to the beginning. You mentioned earlier you had the concept in 2000. So how did it all start?
Well, what's funny is I never thought my dream was to have a marketing company. I was a collegiate athlete, which is for basketball, and that's how I got through college. And I thought, I'm going to study business and marketing because no matter what field I go into, I'm going to need those skills to promote it properly. And, eventually I'll find my industry. Well, because I was an athlete and had suffered so many injuries, I went ahead and got my master's in sports medicine. So that was actually my first company in my late 20s, was a company called Life at its Peak, and I helped doctors set up sports medicine as part of their practice as a profit center. And then managed care hit, insurance rules changed, and I could see the writing on the wall. So it's like, okay, like any entrepreneur, you have to reinvent, right? So I went back and I wasn't really thinking about specializing in workforce and education. It kind of found me because during those years when I was in my 30s, I looked at, well, what skills do I really need? So I chose jobs that would help me build my skills, like public relations, communications, I worked with an advertising firm, so a lot of corporate experience. It just so happened that one of I worked for the county of San Diego. That was where I got my media experience in health and human services. And we ended up writing a business plan for foster care youth. And it was a really cool facility here in San Diego that helped youth learn workforce skills and life skills so that they could be self sufficient. And I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, I ended up getting recruited by a workforce agency where I learned this crazy world because I didn't really have exposure to it till then. And I thought, this is such a great match because the field and the industry really gives people hope with building these new skills or getting a degree and pursuing their education and really finding their path. So that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to start another company called Full Capacity Marketing. And here we are 25 years later.
What would you say are the key factors to your success and still be relevant in an industry that keeps evolving?
Oh, such a good question. I mean, Richard, I have people on my staff who do nothing but look at the trends and bring them back and say, how is this going to affect our industry in workforce education and in entrepreneurship? And so that is a constant. Things are going to change in the market. AI is a great example, right? That I think marketing and sales is the top industry where AI is really impacting it in a positive light. So it's like, how do we bundle that up and take it to our clients, right? One of the things we do in our company is we have a learning hub. And so people could come to us and learn how to manage their brand, sustain their brand, so our whole goal, that's why we're called full capacity marketing, is that we want our customers to be at full capacity long after our contract concludes. So we do a lot of empowerment, a lot of education ourselves around the field of marketing when we work with our customers. So I think those things have kind of set us apart from other ad agencies that want you to keep coming back over and over again and you not really knowing what they're doing. I think that's a disservice to the customer. They need to know what you're doing. They need to see the data and how you're getting the results. Because we're really big on, hey, if you've got the internal resources, let's train those people up, right? And then you'll be able to manage your brand internally. So those are some of the things we look at. Yeah.
So what about we spoke about AI a little bit. So what do you how do you guys deal with and how do you use AI in your day-to-day?
So think of us as kind of a full service agency. So a lot of what we do is before we even say, oh, this is what needs to be on your website, or oh, you've got to have a social media plan, or oh, you should get a podcast, right? Those are all tactics. And we really start with the strategies first. Why are you doing those things? Is that the best approach to reaching your market? So, market research is where we've seen the most movement in AI to help us synthesize a tremendous amount of data. For example, we do what we call a brand sentiment analysis, which is taking a look at keywords that people would typically use maybe to find your company. And we take a look at that and we look at the online footprint of those words and say, well, what is actually being said about this topic? And what are people's frequently asked questions? And, those types of things that help you with the strategy on how you should position your company. Where are the conversations taking place? Because those are the platforms you should be on with your company or your organization in order to let people know who you are and what you do. So that I think has been the biggest piece in AI is the research and the synthesis of data. It has really helped our work tremendously in expediting, our strategies and our communication with customers.
Biggest lesson in the 25 years.
Ooh, I have so many of them. um, I think one of them is really figuring out what your strengths and weaknesses are. and then leaning into the strengths and surrounding yourself with good people where you have areas of opportunity yourself, because you have to have a well-rounded company. And also, as the CEO, you want to be able to do things that are really impactful and also what you want to do, right? Which is kind of the cool thing of having your own company. The other thing I think that's super important is having diversity of thought, because the more diverse your team is, the better the strategy is. People come with different viewpoints, and you want to be able to have a space to hold those viewpoints, because at the end of the day, it makes your product better, makes your service better. Um, so I would say that is one big lesson too. The other thing, and I'd say this is the biggest one, so much so that I'm launching a new product line in September, a new service in September for women in business. Women are really good, and this is not to say anything bad about the guys, because the guys can be good at this too, but I think women are inherently natural at building relationships. And I think that is really speaks to being able to build a team. And it says right on my website, business is second, relationships are first. And I think that's really important. So that's been, I think, the success of our longevity.
What is more important, a great product or a great story?
Well, you have to have the product. I don't think you can get a great story without a great product or service. So you've got in your product and service, it has to fill a need. It has to, people need to see the value of it, and you have to build a brand that people have equity in. If you don't have that, then the stories aren't going to come. So it depends on what stage you are in the rolling out of your company, but you've got to have a viable service and product that has a solid business plan. You've done your market research, you know what the market potential is, you know what the need is. Once you have that, you've got to get loyal customers who will shout your name from the rooftops. And that's where storytelling comes in as a big part of your marketing plan. So you got to have both. I cheated on that answer, didn't I? Then you wanted one, but it's like you got to have both.
It's okay. Um, did you had to pivot along the way in those 25 years?
Oh my gosh. I mean, sometimes I felt like a match. I was in a ping pong match going back and forth. And yes, you absolutely have to pivot, because the market changes so rapidly and customers' needs really change. And so how can you be responsive to those needs in a timely manner? Because we work in public sector marketing in one in part of the company, and then private sector marketing with entrepreneurs. But the education and workforce is a good example, because as administrations change, White House administrations change, congressional members change, so does the funding for those activities. So, you have to really pivot and say, okay, what is the administration looking for? How does our mission fit within that? And if it doesn't, do we need to go out and find alternative funding streams or raise capital in a different way? So it's a constant pivot. That's another place where AI can really help you monitor trends and look at trends daily.
Looking back, would you have done certain things differently?
Um, you know, don't get me wrong, I've made mistakes along the way. And what I've tried to do is be true to my company values, which basically align with my values as a human being, right? As personally. And just give the customer the best possible service. And would I change things? Yeah, probably some of the headaches and everything with staff and how I would hire and bring people on and try them out. That might change. I finally have streamlined that process a bit, but for the most part, I think the mistakes were part of my journey. It changed me in terms of, okay, being able to handle adversity and just pick myself up by the bootstraps and say, okay, we need another plan. You have time to literally take one breath, right, and say, this happened. Okay, now what are we going to do about it? Right. And so I think the answer is no, because at the end of the day, I think our experiences shape us to who we are and where we're supposed to be. And I do believe that the universe never passes us up for something that's meant for us. So when I would not get contracts, it'd be like that will be my mindset.
So how would you describe the company's culture?
The company's culture is we have several core values that are important for us: trust, making sure the customers trust us, empowering. That's done through our learning hub and how we, our processes and how we work with our customers. Very important. And diversity, have an open thought. And I really feel like I've set a culture where people can speak their truth and their mind freely, because at the end of the day, we want a better service and products for our customers. And again, that diversity of thought really helps. So I don't look at myself as the boss. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody has a say at the table, and those ideas come together to go into a project, to build a better project, to help the customers at the end of the day.
What do you see for capacity marketing in the next 10 years? Do you have another person taking over the company in the future?
Yes, I have. In fact, she is amazing. And she is our managing director right now. She's moved up to that position in the last 3 years, and I see her continuing to move forward in that regard. She's very young, 24, 25 years old, and amazing. So we do a lot of talent development, talent grooming. And I make sure that she has professional development opportunities. And I told her, at the end of the day, if full capacity marketing is not a match for you, I will help you in your next step of your journey. And I truly feel that's important as a leader, that we help our employees, whether they're going to stay with us or not. I know we spend a lot of time and energy, but it's their choice to be here. And I value that choice. So I'm grooming her to do that. And in the next 10 years, so I've got her set up to sort of come in, and so I can do just the business development part. And then what I'm really excited about is we're launching a women entrepreneurship course and coaching. I was looking at the research and I was just appalled, because when you look at women in business, they have 50% of the companies right now in the world. However, they earn less than 2.5 times the average annual income of men owned businesses. And if we were able to level that playing field, we could inject $10.2 trillion into the economy. So I said, there's a need for this. And then we did a bunch of research on why is it that these are the facts, basically. So the course deals with that, and it's a dual certification that provides a holistic approach. It combines emotional intelligence mastery, because we have to look at things like the glass ceiling, how to overcome them, and in our own mind. That's why it's called market ready mindset. What keeps us, our own internal barriers from starting a company and having a legacy brand. And then the second part of the certification is an operational roadmap to build that legacy brand. So I'm super excited. I partnered up with someone from Texas, Leanne Hilger. She's amazing. And so we're going to be launching that in the fall. And I see myself, as I age out, turning the reins over to the younger generation, teach them as much as possible, and then really give back in that way. And that's what Market Ready Mindset is going to be part of, our e-learning hub and what we're doing with the entrepreneur space. So I'm super excited about that. It's something I always want to do in quote unquote retirement. I don't think I'll ever retire, although I'm of age to do so, because it's so much fun. So as long as I'm having fun and there's people there to do good work and I'm needed in that space, I'll be around.
So what do you want the legacy to be?
The legacy is around empowerment. That is at the end of the day. And I think our company really exemplifies that through our e-learning hub and our processes with our customers. If I can work myself out of a contract and that organization is sustainable in terms of being able to manage their brand, promote their brand, and provide good services out into the world, then we've done our job. And so that's, I think at the end of the day, if you had to summarize it, it would be empowerment.
What advice would you have for new founders?
Well, they should take market ready mindset. Of course, that would be number one. And I go back to that and I laugh, but it's true. I think one of the things we did in this course was we put our collective knowledge into our corporate experience or starting a company and what were the trials and tribulations from a woman's perspective and what are the barriers that we place on ourselves that we have to get over in order to be successful. So that would be one thing to check out. But really looking at getting your mind straight, like yes, I can do this, and then having the right operational roadmap and that business and marketing plan, which is so critical, especially the marketing plan. You asked before, is the story more important but the product? So the business plan is going to give you the product or the service. The marketing plan is going to give you the promotional elements you need to really build yourself up as a thought leader in your industry. And there's a process for doing that. I think entrepreneurs should learn so that they can manage their brand, which is really an extension of yourself in and day out.
Where can people learn more about you and about the company?
Yeah, they can go to fullcapacitymarketing.com. From there, you can click on our blogs. We have ebooks, thought leadership articles, all the social posts, a YouTube channel, all of that. You can get in contact with me at info@fullcapacitymarketing.com. And there's also a place if you want to set up a free consult just to talk through your challenges and where we might be able to help you. There is a consultation form on our website.
Okay, it was nice to reconnect again. Happy 25th anniversary. Wishing you another 25 with the new with the next generation, and and hopefully that keeps going from generation to generation. So you started a good thing, a good work at the beginning. So I hope the next generations will keep it up. On that note, everybody, thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode. So once again, congratulations, Celina Shands, founder and CEO of Full Capacity Marketing.